Hi, welcome to the studio. I'm Zargonaut. And that camera is basically not showing me very well, is it? There we go. Not that you've particularly bothered about seeing me, but well, we're after Christmas. This may be a short stream. I don't know. I could do with having some food at some point, so it may be a short stream. So before Christmas, I finished the Christmas card, which was a Christmas card for Lady Zara. So a pyrographied Christmas card in pyrography. It looked really nice. I must put the photograph up at some point on various places. So just to get back a little bit into it, do some more on this out of the dark. And this is going to be the easy bit because this is just a dark background, which is an easy one to do. Just to kind of get back into it a little bit, I guess. So hopefully everybody has enjoyed Christmas, got what you wanted for Christmas. Buffy, good evening. What did you miss this stream? Nothing. I literally just started. So I'm just first stream after Christmas, so I'm just taking it nice and easy tonight. So I don't know how long it's going to be. Certainly it will be no longer than normal, but maybe shorter. Just because I've not had anything to eat yet for evening meal. So I might have to go and make some of that soon. So we've got probably an hour. And then I shall maybe go and get some food. So did you have a good Christmas? Such boring evenings. Oh, you missed it. Oh, I see. Sorry, you missed it. Oh, well, at least thank you for the compliment. You might be the only one. That is just being a bit awkward tonight. I had quite an interesting Christmas. Over the past few days I've been playing games, specifically two and a bit games. I've been playing Euro Truck Simulator and American Truck Simulator. Every year the developers have like an event, which is to deliver Christmas presents for Santa, and you've got to basically deliver so many truckloads and you get a little tiny whatever. I think last year it was an achievement. This year it's some things to hang up in the cab and a chance to win some other goodies. So I was doing that, and since I've actually not played American Truck Simulator since I got it over a year ago, I had to spend about a few hours sort of playing it long enough to get enough money to buy my own truck, which you need to be able to do the Christmas event with. So I've been doing that. And then yesterday I started setting up my new Farming Simulator, the most recent one, which I also haven't played for over a year. Actually, I haven't played it before at all, this latest version. So I was setting that up, and then probably got annoyed with the fact that the steering wheel profile software doesn't auto detect the game, so I've just been reconfiguring everything today. You helped out a stream and he gave you two free video games. Well, that's good of him. What video games did you get? And did you get anything else interesting for Christmas? This year, lady, because of the financial situation at the moment, Lady Zara and I agreed not to buy each other any Christmas presents this year, so we didn't have any. But I didn't agree not to make any. So as you saw before Christmas, I did some pyrography, like the Christmas card, and I gave her some pyrography. So she got a Christmas present even though she wasn't expecting one, which was good. Simulating Five Nights at Freddy. You also got There Are Billions of My Best Friend. That's a zombie game, isn't it? There are millions of them. Yeah. Oh yeah, off your best. Okay, yeah, follow. Insular Simulator. Don't quite. I'm not sure what that one is. It's so hard but fun. Yeah. I was gonna say I kind of looked at it and thought, that looks like it could be frustrating, and I'm not sure I actually want to be that frustrated when I'm playing a game. But there again, that's one of these kind of strategy type games, isn't it? Where when I'm not Insult Simulator. Oh, okay. Insult Simulator. You simulate insults. Okay. Sounds a bit weird, but hopefully you're enjoying it. Surprisingly, I actually haven't watched any streamers or very little video over the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. I've watched, about the only one I've watched is Direwolf with the Minecraft, and that's about it. And I literally haven't watched anything else. I sort of played games for myself rather than watch somebody else play them for once. I didn't even do any art. Oh, okay. It's you kind of have to make up insults in the game to, yeah, okay. It does sound interestingly silly, shall we say, funnily silly enough to be funny, to be fun. That's the word I was looking for. Silly enough to be fun. Yeah, it's what, Friday, Thursday today, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, they sort of give you. You've just got to put them together in a way that makes an insult. Oh, okay. A bit like playing sort of Scrabble, but with words. You know, I'm trying to make this a nice uniform dark, and I am not succeeding very well at all. Maybe I ought to stop overcooking it and try and do it in 2 passes. It looked like with that there are billions or million, whatever it was. It kind of looks like you can't win, because it from what I saw, it looked like all they kept doing is if you won in quotes a round, they just added more the next time and just kept doing that until you basically couldn't win. You had to lose, and that just kind of. I know there's some sort of challenge in that and how far do you get, but. It looked like it would just become a grind. You can win. Oh, okay. What is there? Sort of a limited number of rounds or something? I haven't actually watched anybody play it, so I don't know anything about the gameplay itself. Even though, okay, you just basically got to survive a number of days. It's tell you what, it kind of reminds me of things like Age of Empires and those sorts of civilization type games, just with zombies. I've seen backgrounds like this done with a tiny blowtorch, and I have one, which I use for soldering, and I'm kind of tempted to try it, but I also suspect it will produce like a carbonised look, which I really don't like. Okay. Well, that's, that's kind of if it achieves that, it's well made, good game, well balanced, then fantastic. I suppose it is kind of untouched, isn't it? I mean, there's lots of FPS type zombie games. This is kind of the first one that takes it to the sort of the next, in some ways, more logical conclusion. Because I mean, it's kind of like you've got a world full of zombies. Then you're not going to clear the world by yourself in FPS, I mean, you shoot the other one. You're more likely to want to avoid the things, I'd have thought. Until they somehow sort of die naturally. If a zombie can die naturally. Whereas that sort of settlement defence type thing is seems sort of more likely. No, that's not working very well. You'll love it. Well, that's the main thing. I mean, if you like it, then it actually doesn't matter whether the game's good or bad. From what what people might say about it or anything. If you enjoy the game, then that's it. I mean, the number of times I've watched people playing things like rail simulators or flight simulators or even sort of farming or truck simulation, and they're going, what's interesting about this? Why would you want to play it? But you do, well, I do. And the people I've been watching wanted to play it. And it's actually becomes, I think these sorts of things become strangely sort of fascinating in a way. But if it's a game you want to play, then fine. Kind of, if everybody liked the same game, then there wouldn't be very many games out there, would there? Imagine developers that would then spam the heck out of the same game, wouldn't they? To get boring really fast. You got a 2 terabyte hard drive and Assassin's Creed Origin. Oh, you got the Origin. I've had it's the latest DLC that's just out. I've been sort of occasionally watching. Path of the Exile, isn't it? Something, or is that something else? I can't remember. I need to buy either 2 or 3 or after Christmas at some point when I manage to save up. I need to buy 3, probably 2 or 3 terabyte drives for the server here. I am running out of disk space. When I originally built the server, I built it using whatever disks I happen to have lying around. So I think it's got a 1 terabyte and about 3 750 gigabyte drives in it. So I kind of need to do the job properly and put a rate controller in. Which reminds me, yes, I do have a rate controller. I couldn't in the end put a rate controller into the server that I've got because the motherboard didn't like it. Or the operating system and motherboard together didn't like it. It just wouldn't recognise the RAID. I am also starting to think probably within a year or so I'm going to have to see about a new computer. When things like the truck simulators and the rail simulators are just not keeping up with my video card, or my video card isn't keeping up with them, then it starts to think it's probably about time. Although since I have an i7 processor in there, but in theory, although it's 2.4 GHz, I have over.
If you find any enabled video skills, go to the music video and books section of the Alexa app, enable the video provider you want, and then link your account and complete setup.
I did not ask you anything about. No, they pop up with the weirdest things sometimes. Oh, video card. Yeah. Yeah, what's mine? 9800. It was the top of the range card when I bought it. That's a good few years ago. I don't know whether just putting a new video card in would be a good idea or not. Because I could in theory put one of the latest gen cards in, but then I've only got a 2.4 gig i7, which I could overclock. So I've had it running at 4 gigs, so but then the motherboard is also several years out of date, so it doesn't have any USB 3 ports on it. So I had to have just recently added a USB 3 card in. I don't know. One of the things I'd love to get is an Oculus Rift, but with my PC there's not a lot of point. I can remember when I first built this PC, one of the things, I built it that long ago that you used to still buy games in shops. I know you still can buy them in shops, but I kind of don't these days. And it always used to be nice at that point because you could walk into the shop, pick anything off the shelf, and you didn't have to ever bother looking at the specs to see whether it would run on your machine because you had the fastest machine out there. These days I'd have to look really carefully at the specs. For example, I'm not sure, unless I turned it way down, it'd run Assassin's Creed. I probably have really short draw distances and bad graphics to be able to get it to run. Kind of surprising that even the games that you kind of don't expect in some ways to, they don't look like they take a lot of power to run, and maybe games like the billions of them, the sort of the look of the game kind of doesn't look like it would need a lot of processing or graphics power, and yet they do. I still think in some cases it's a case of a lot of these things that developed, you've kind of, we've got, let's assume everybody's got a 4 gig processor, and if they haven't got it they'll just have to go out and upgrade, and they don't bother optimizing or anything like that. I'm sure they do, but it does sometimes feel as though these things are just how it works on our machine, let's not bother type of thing. Then again, I'm probably just cynical today because I'm still annoyed about this the Logitech software that won't detect truck simulators for no reason I can work out. It will not switch profiles. But it's not Steam games because it switches profiles quite happily for the farming simulator, which is a Steam game. It kind of feels like it's not running the executable like it says it's running. which is why the profiler isn't switching. But I can't find out what it is running if it's not running what it says it's running. So what's Thursday? Thursday today, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 more days. And it's 2018. Wow. Well, I'm not going to be doing any late night streaming on today, so that's for sure. I shall probably be in bed before midnight, I think. Although there again I probably won't, because with all the fireworks that'll be going off, it will be rather loud around here. I'll probably need to stay up to look after the cats, because it's almost likely that they'll be somewhat unsure about all the fireworks. It was rather loud last year, and they all the cats got somewhat concerned about all the noise. I'll gain the quality of background on this that I'm after. I kind of wanted it to be really, really dark if I could, but let's go for a little bit more heat and just see what happens. Interesting, I haven't seen him around for quite some time. See what happens was a streamer. He used to stream making 3-dimensional models out of pipe cleaners, or the modelling equivalent of pipe cleaners. Just be quite fun to watch. I haven't seen him for quite some time. I don't often feel like that. I'm sort of feeling quite tense with this thing. He's not going, I would like it to go dark, and it's not. Just try some random scribbling around. Need to develop a strategy if I can for making this background dark. Well, this might work, but it's quite slow. Maybe that's why the person I saw using the blowtorch. Use the blowtorch! May try a hot air gun. That might be the other one. Why are you doing this? Same thing, blowtorch, but with a hot air nozzle on the end of it rather than a flame. This is where I ought to have my fan, you know. One of the things I got a 3D printer next to me. I need to finish building it, because then I can do things like get a fan housing. So I can sort of do things like hang the fan over the side of this board, just so that I can blow a tiny bit of air just across it, just so I don't get the this vapour into my eyes. With a heavy burn like this, you always get, and I know I'm not burning the wood, but I'm just using the current vernacular, shall we say. When you do a heavy heat like this, you get a lot of this obnoxious vapour off. It doesn't even smell nice. It's really acrid and acidy. When you're doing a light duty heating, then the wood sometimes smells quite nice, but this rapid heating is not very nice at all. Now that's sort of going as dark as I want it to do, so maybe that's what I've got to do, is just work like this. I'm scrubbing the tool a little bit, but in circles, just because I don't want it to sort of dig into the wood. I'm not looking to texture this at all. I kind of really just want it to be as nondescript and as dark as possible. Oh, I guess you were lurking. That's all right, Wolfie. I almost felt like lurking myself. You know, turning the microphone off and just getting on with it. Game is so good. Which are you playing? The Billions. And if you're lucky, you probably didn't hear that, but don't worry about it if you haven't. Which of course is a completely nonsensical statement, because you haven't heard me. You won't know how to say it's alright if you haven't heard me. Therefore, I'll never know. You do say some weird things sometimes. Especially streamers, when your brain is otherwise engaged. Too much texture. Yeah, I think after this, after this stream I'll be making some food, but after the food I'll probably go back to play Farming Simulator for a little while. Given that I've not played it in over a year. Yeah, again, this dark enough may well involve outside air. Well, one thing I have had over the Christmas period was some feedback on some of the commissioned work that I did at the back end of last year. The commissioner, sounds odd to say the commissioner, the commissioner of the work was really pleased with it. Thought that the work looked realistic, which is a great result. So it looked better than they thought it might. So now all I need to be able to do is one of those a day, and I'm set. If anybody out there is interested in commissioned pyrography, then let me know. Dark backgrounds cost extra, as in they just take a lot longer to do. I must try out the torch, I guess. See if that will speed things up. I wonder if that will get more viewers if I started literally sort of moving flames around under the camera. Corn Muscles, thank you very much for that follow. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much for watching. Was that because I might start sort of branding a blowtorch around? It won't be on this image, I'm afraid, because I wouldn't want to get something out of it that I've done 3/4 of this, so I'm not sure it would be a good idea to suddenly change techniques, but there again I might do, just because I'm not getting this. This is going dark, but it's kind of what I'm after. It's not quite going. It's still going sort of very patchy. I'm not getting the dark that I really want with this. So I may actually dig the torch out tomorrow. I am doing the easy bit here. It's kind of hard because it just takes a fair amount of time to do, and as I say, I'm trying to be as consistent with the background as I can. I'd like it to be just uniformly dark, but I'm not. In some ways, I'm not looking forward to this. Is a leopard, and I want to do it with fur that looks like fur, as opposed to just sort of a few splotches of black, which would be the easy way out. I want this to actually look. I mean, this thing is so close to you. I want you to be able to see the fur. The sort of nightmare type view that you don't ever want to see if you're out sort of somewhere in the forest and in your weak little torchlight. What you've got is that thing in your face, you know. Yeah, I'm going to end up with, be careful. Starting and stopping in the same place. One of the things you have to be careful of is you then get a dark line down there, which I can see. You probably can't, especially as I'm not working on frame, but that looks a lot darker. I've got to be careful not to start and stop in the same place every time. I keep having to remind myself. Of course, stopping in the same place is fine when it's off the end of the board. Normally when you're doing large shading areas you don't want to lift your pen off the board. You don't want it to heat up because you get black blobs. In this particular case I want it to stay as hot as I can, so I'm actually lifting it off and doing what I would normally want to avoid. Now that's going quite nicely dark. Yeah, I wish I could do this all the time. Try doing the same thing on the next stream and it won't come out looking anything like this. It's the wood, it's a particular place on the wood that's doing it. As you apply pyrography across the wood, you actually find areas, some areas will take colour a lot easier than others, and actually often that becomes a problem in that you're fighting all the time not to, for any given level of heat, not to get a suddenly dark patch that you weren't expecting. Now this outer band does eventually get stay dark like this, and I don't manage to extend it inwards. At least it'll look like a little bit of a graduated fade, so I'll get away with it. The wood here is quite close to carbonising, but not quite there. At the moment it's still cooking the wood as opposed to carbonising it. Once it carbonises it goes a dull grey sort of colour, or dull black. And some of that is just because what's happening here is a liquid that's on the surface is being cooked as well as what's in the fibres of the wood. It's forming like a glaze over the top, so it's shiny, and when you go with enough heat to carbonise it, you actually burn off all that liquid, and so it leaves a matte surface. Which looks completely different. Now, one of the nice things I've found with this easel is that vapour that's coming off that I suspect you may be able to see is for some reason not coming towards me as it would normally do. Part of that is probably actually because I'm stepping further back. Being able to work at an angle like this is rather nice. For years I've done pyrography flat on the bench, and you have to lean over that to some extent, and sort of normal air currents meant this vapour would be right in my face, which isn't very pleasant, and also heat and things like that. But working on an easel like this has had the advantage that I don't get either the heat nor that vapour. One of the other advantages is that I'm getting next to no glare off the lights as well. It's flat down, as I mentioned earlier. Pyrography, or this type of pyrography, is quite reflective, and when it's flat you just get light glare, as you can see there, which makes it really hard to see what you're doing, and for you guys to watch as well and see what it is I'm doing. And having it at an angle like this is working amazingly well to make it visible to both of us. Of course, now that I've said that, what's going to happen is all this vapour is going to come straight in my face. And mostly the secret of pyrography is to take your time, and that is more a case of don't try and go too fast as opposed to slow down. You're not deliberately going slow, you have to go slow. I mean, the effect I'm getting here of this is actually a lot closer to what I'm after, and I just have to go slow enough to do it. I tried going faster earlier and tried doing multiple layers. None of them were giving me the darkness that I wanted. This kind of is. I know on camera it looks almost black, but here it's not quite. I do have to be careful around the ears here. This tool is way hot. It's probably around 300 degrees at the moment. Celsius, that is. And it's radiating enough heat to actually colour the board that's near the tip. Now, if you're wondering why I seem to only be making a little bit of progress at any one time, I am deliberately overlapping, and overlapping considerably, because it allows the bit of the tool that's overlapping to continue to cook the wood that I've already just done and make it even darker. Start and stop, so again, start and stop. That was a reminder for me not to stop in the same place every time. At least if I do, to make sure I feather it out. Nicely looking dark there. So all I've got to do is hope that tomorrow night I remember how I was doing this and continue to do the same thing. So anybody who's watching, if you've got any questions about pyrography, then feel free to ask them in chat. I don't mind answering questions. Also, I do other things like wood carving and chainmail jewellery and scraper board and punchcraft and a few other things. So if you would want to know anything about those, also feel free to ask. You don't have to wait until I'm doing it to be able to ask the questions. Of course, you can wait if you want, but that's entirely up to you. There's a great temptation when there's only a small amount like that just to sort of try and do it all in one go, but I'll get a better quality result if I don't, and just carry on with what I was doing in the same way. Right. Now do the next bit. With a background like this, there's a lot of sort of rinse and repeat. Just tend to make your eyes go funny as well. Only from the point of view of you concentrating on something. And because you're concentrating on something, you've really focused in on it, and your eyes kind of just... You can move them off to one side, which of course is a good idea to sort of continuously do that for all sorts of reasons. But doing that is you just makes your eyes go, wow, what happened? You're back, your PC crashed. Oh, so you're obviously watching me on a tablet or the phone then. Otherwise, well, no, that's an assumption. The assumption based on the fact that if your PC still crashed, then you couldn't be watching me on the PC. But given that you're back, you probably were. Hopefully it wasn't your game and you haven't lost too much. You crashed through it, yeah. You are back. Indeed you are. Indeed you are. You missed such an awful lot. An awful lot of nothing, but an awful lot. So you lost nothing. That's good. Because usually you can guarantee something like a crash is going to happen about half a second away from the point at which you were going to save the game after spending half an hour to an hour saying, I must save this. And then just as you're reaching for the save button, but that happens so many times. And yet if you save regularly it never crashes. Of course that's completely fictitious, but sounds good. Well, I'm going to finish this corner off. And then I think it's probably time I went and got some food. So we've still got a lot of turkey left over. So I think we're having turkey soup tonight. I'm almost sticking my tongue out again. Don't know what it is about concentration. People tend to either stick their tongue out or bite their lip. Switch that off. I think that'll do for tonight. Just well. I've not been doing this for a few days, and it's you kind of get out of the practice of doing it. I'm sort of getting back into it. Now that black around there is more along the lines of what I'm after. You see the difference between that and that? So it looks like I'm going to have to go back over this some of this again, just to get that really dark black, because that looks nice. I mean, this is meant to be coming out of the night, out the dark. It's not good if the dark's light. But we'll do down this side of the board before we go back over there. So that's another couple, well, that's going to be what, two, four, that's about 6 hours of working doing that. I have to find a faster way of doing that if I'm ever going to do black backgrounds again. Especially to do them commercially. Because just that in itself takes a long time of doing. Bubbles the monkey, hello! Practice does indeed make perfect. Haven't seen you for a long time. How are you doing? I'm talking to the chat with. Oh, I am so used to, even though it's a long time ago, I'm so used to having the camera down there instead of up there in front of me. Hey dear, what are you up to these days? How was Christmas? Oh, I'm doing well, thank you very much. It's been an interesting year, and obviously the year before that was even more interesting, shall we say. But things are getting back towards being normal now, and it's regular streaming, and I can actually feel like playing games and doing stuff like that. So it's going really well. Since you're here, I'm going to do a little bit more. I was going to stop and make some tea, but I'll do a little bit more. Christmas went well. Yes, Christmas has gone well. Christmas has been a bit sort of odd here because of certain financial constraints. Meant that it's been a sort of quiet Christmas. But it's been a fun time. Yeah, I've had. For the past year, I've sort of almost every working moment has been really busy doing things. and just over Christmas we've been able to sit back and actually not do things, and be able to play games and things. So it's been a fun time. Of course, I'm back at work next Tuesday, but why you've been not doing much, as in sort of streaming, or just with a sadly bit didn't wasn't quite sure what you meant by that, Bubbles. As I just mentioned, I want this background to be really dark because this is a leopard, and I want this to be coming out of the dark. I want it to be that sort of thing you don't really want to ever meet in real life. Yeah, a bit busy with some family members. Okay, yeah. That was us a year or so ago now. And unfortunately, said family members are no longer with us. It's kind of hard to get back into streaming as well, Bubbles, once you've given it up for a while. I'm still not sure. I've been doing this again since about April, but I'm still not sure I'm back into sort of the stream of doing streaming, if you can follow that convoluted logic. So it seems quite a lot harder to get back into it than it was to start it in the first place. I also think creative has probably started getting, the viewers in creative have dropped off quite a bit as well. Okay, Wolfie, well, enjoy your lay in bed. I may not be here when you get back. I'm not going to be going on for much longer. As I say, I would like to go get some an evening meal, which I've still got to make. Well, earlier today, here in the studio, for no apparent reason, an aerosol can of airbrush cleaner, which basically is a solvent, decided to leak all over the bag it was in, and all the solvent came out, and the studio has been smelling of solvent all day. In fact, this morning when I first smelt it, it took me something like about 2 hours before I was able to locate it, and by which time it was kind of all over the place in terms of the smell. And I was just thinking then that the amount of vapour causing this wood to give off, it's probably going to replace that smell quite easily. I'm eating late. Yeah, well, we actually had lunch rather late. We had lunch about 4 o'clock, so it's kind of it's late, but it's kind of the right sort of late, if you know what I mean. Yeah, no, nail salon. I've never been in a nail salon, but the solvent did have the same smell as nail varnish remover. Oh, it's in nail varnish as well. So yeah, it probably smells just like that, or smelt just like that. Tell you what, it's the outside temperature here today has been about -1, and I had we had two of the big windows open in this room and the room next to, just to try and get rid of the smell. So it was rather cold in the studio earlier. Luckily, for some reason, the studio always seems to get warm really quickly, so it didn't stay freezing for very long. It's only a small can as well, and there usually doesn't seem to be much in spray cans. So no idea why it leaked or even how it leaked. We sort of took the lid off the can, which in retrospect was a bad thing to do, and the inside of the can lid was just full of solvent, which promptly dripped all over the place, which was a bad thing. But yeah, the press nozzle seemed to well, there was no pressure in the can anymore. It seemed to sort of press. It wasn't as though it had been pressed down because it had a can lid on top of it. And the only thing I noticed was it. Normally, when you try and pull the nozzles out, they take a bit of force to come out. This particular case, in this particular case, it sort of just almost dropped out. So I don't know if the solvent has somehow eaten through. Now, I've just put sawdust, or wood flour really, right over the top of this pyrography, which was still slightly soft and sticky. So it now looks slightly whiter than it did. You're back, Wolfie. Okay. Well, you just missed me put wood flour all the way over the top of this pyrography that I've just done, forgetting that the bush was covered in it from earlier. And now it looks slightly dull. I'm so close to sticking my tongue in. Have you come to the wrong place then, Wolfie? You laid in bed now with your with a tablet, are you? For a good talk, it's probably the wrong place to come to, is this? I said all the good stuff, you see, whilst you were you had me muted. with this amount of heat being applied, the wood becomes really soft and sort of plastic-like. And I've got to really close to carbonising it, but it's so what I just do is try and keep it smooth, because it creates like it's like pressing down on bread. It creates sort of a ridges and things. Yes, the phone. Yes, sleeping. And the phone does out. Okay. So what you're looking for me to do is to talk you to sleep. Is that it? You're trying to say I'm boring? You're probably right if that's what you're trying to say, but. Oh, thank you very much, Wolfie. That's kind of you. Yeah. You see, now I can't even say why, because that would be repeating myself, wouldn't it? I shall endeavour for 2018 to not repeat myself quite so much. Of course, that's not a New Year's resolution. I don't make resolutions. If I did, the only resolution I'd make is not to make resolutions, which would of course immediately have broken. So that's why I don't make resolutions. And have you watching going to make any New Year's resolutions for when they come up? And more importantly, will you keep them? What sort of resolutions do you make? On a more serious side, I don't make resolutions just purely because if I make a resolution, it means I was going to do it anyway. And if I was going to do it anyway, why make a resolution out of it? You know, I just get on and do it. So that's really why I don't make them. In some ways, it almost feels like you're setting yourself up to fail as well. You know. Oh, that's a diplomatic way of putting it. I didn't know you were vegan, Wolfie. I mean, I don't think the subject's ever come up, but okay, then I misunderstood. Okay, you just produce enough. Okay. The way in which I thought you meant was because I mean often whole families are not vegan. You'll get a member of the family who is vegan and the rest aren't, and they just carry on with whatever they want to eat, and so you have sort of two different lifestyles in the house. So persuading others to be more vegan, would be consistent with that, which is what I thought. I was wrong, but it was what I thought. Right, but I think that's it for tonight. Oh, that is quite a lot, yes, Wolfie, it is. You're going in a low carb diet. All the cream, animal fat. Yeah, it does. Oh, it's an interesting. It could be an interesting argument. I'm not going to get into it. Yep. There's all sorts of arguments either way. It's one of these things that's kind of, as long as you're not going to extremes, Wolfie and Bubbles, then it's. It's like almost all food is bad for you, and what isn't bad for you isn't good for you either. So it's kind of a bit weird. Meat is terrible for the earth. Depends on the meat as well, because then you'd have some predators that were out of control, and I don't know. Yeah, indeed they do. Depends on the animals as well. It's mainly the ruminants, isn't it? The cows and things and similar. But anyway, an interesting conversation. But unfortunately, I'm going to go have some turkey. Make some turkey soup and have some more turkey. Oh no, I wasn't suggesting that you were saying I couldn't do it. Yeah, everything. It's like what used to be an old saying: everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. I'm going to wish both of you an excellent evening. I'm going to go talk your food. Going to go eat some, and I will be back on tomorrow night. Probably doing some more of this black. Well, yeah, I want to finish this before I start on the main body. I don't know whether I'll go back over that before I start the main body. Probably not. I want to get this in so that I've got a reference background. The white background means that you see this. I was seeing this as too light when I was doing it, and I want it to be quite dark. So I need a reference background in there so that I don't get the confused visual image that would come up, and I will continue with it tomorrow night. No, turkey is meat. Turkey is meat. But it'd be more wasteful to throw it away now that we've got it. Yeah, have a good evening, Bubbles. So, again, thank you everybody who's watching. Whether you've been saying anything in chat or not, you're welcome to obviously watch and stream. Watch the stream. I will hopefully be on again tomorrow night from somewhere around about 7 PM UK time. Or between 7 and 8 PM. Maybe I'll get something to eat before the stream tomorrow. Don't know. We'll see. And carry on. With that, thank you for watching. Hope I'll see you on the next stream. Bye for now.